program is being rolled back. And I know you and others don't ever want to give the Obama administration credit for almost anything, but the fact is, this is the first administration to get a rollback in those 10 years. And right now, Israel and countries in the region and the world are safer because Iran's 20% enriched uranium is now being reduced to 0. And under this agreement to continue the negotiations for 4 months, Iran will further reduce the capacity of that enriched uranium to be used by turning it into fuel for the research reactor, which makes it almost impossible to be used in a weapon. In addition, we have inspectors in their facilities every single day. In addition to that, they have not been able to move forward on the Iraq plutonium heavy water reactor.
Well, sir, they can't continue.
No, Chris, you like to ask questions, but you don't like to get answers.
I do, sir, but they do. They are able to continue enrichment. They are able to continue work on their centrifuges.
Chris, I don't care how many questions you ask. I'm going to finish my answer. And I am telling you,
I don't care how many questions you ask. I'm going to continue to lie, Chris. You can ask all the questions you want. I'm a liar. I'm a lying liar, and I'm going to keep on lying, no matter how many questions you ask. All right, Chris, good. If he just went, he remind me of, what was Jim Carrey? What was that? What was the, what Jim Carrey play on Saturday Night Live? What was he, a fireman? What they call, what was his name? If he just go, I can't even do it. I don't know how Jim Carrey did it. But he reminds me of that fire guy who was always starting fires. You know, he was supposed to be some kind of fireman. What was his name? You don't remember? Nobody remembers. Jim Carrey's one of his early roles on Saturday Night Live. He played a fireman that always caught stuff on fire. That's John Kerry. He reminds me of him. A little makeup here, a little splash there. It's funny. Lying through his teeth. Everything he said there was a flat-out lie. Big dumb doofus don't know nothing. I'm just saying. I know you guys listen to the show for all the intellectual stimulation and vocabulary and such.
Everybody said at the beginning of this, the sanctions won't work. The sanctions regime won't hold. Iran won't do what it's supposed to. And they're dead wrong. Everything that Iran was supposed to do, they have done with respect to this. And we believe, and the sanctions have held, and we believe that it is smart to continue the negotiation.
There are no sanctions.
Even, and others said, don't rush to an agreement. A bad deal is worse than no deal, and we agree. And so we're trying to move, but we are making some progress, Chris, and we're not going to turn our back on that progress. We're going to try to continue for the next 4 months, and I think what we're doing by holding their nuclear program at a lower level, we've expanded the breakout time. The world is safer, and this is a smart deal.
Finally, sir, and I wanted to give you an...
Okay. Big dumb doofus. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. Does he really believe that bull crap he just spewed out of his mouth? That was a big... I've seen smaller loads of bull crap come out of the rear end of a 3,000-pound bull. None of that's true. Big dumb doofus. A, the sanctions are in place. There are no sanctions in place. They removed all the sanctions. B, big dumb doofus don't know where half of Iran's enrichment facilities are. Nobody does. Save maybe Israel. Israel's probably afraid to tell us where all their enrichment facilities are. They're afraid we'll help them harden them a little more. Oh, you quit building you quit enriching uranium there, and we'll pour some concrete around here and make it stronger for you. I mean, that's how Israel's probably afraid to tell us where they're at. We might help them fortify them. This moron doesn't know where half their enrichment facilities are. They're deep underground. They're masters at bait and switch. According to him, here's his logic, ladies and gentlemen. What big dumb doofus said there is that we've slowed the Iranians down. Instead of building 72 nuclear weapons over the next 25 years, they're only going to build 14. All that psychobabble nonsense he just said right there, what he was really saying is that we've slowed them down. Instead of building 72 nuclear bombs in the next 25 years, they're only going to build 15. So, that's a great deal. We're really, nobody's gotten that good of a deal, and you don't want to give Obama credit for nothing. I'm going to go home and drink some ketchup and cry. I've never seen more nonsense. Hey, I'm dumber than a box of rocks, and I know what he was saying. Doesn't make any sense. Meanwhile, the Iranian terrorists are celebrating eating goat cheese and saltless crackers, because that's all they're allowed to do. They're dancing in their little uranium enrichment facilities right now as we speak. Enriching uranium and eating goat cheese. Yum, yummy. Oh, and they're laughing at Big Dumb Doofus. Let's wrap this up. I can't only stand to listen to these morons anymore. They're intellectual idiots. Sounds like a squirrel. I've had conversations with squirrels at my campground. Literally. Not the squirrel people, but the squirrels in the trees. I've had more intelligent conversations with squirrels living in the trees at my campground than this big dumb idiot. And he's our Secretary of State. We're in good shape, aren't we, people? I'm serious. Let's wrap it up.
Opportunity to answer the question there.
Finally, yeah.
Listen, the limits on time have been put on by your people. We'd talk to you all day, sir.
Yeah. Way to go, Big Dumb Doofus. Guy's an idiot. Oh, yeah, by the way, he's also a traitor. He came back from Vietnam and went up on the hill and testified about how all of his comrades over in Vietnam were baby killers and raping women and cutting heads off. I didn't have a shred of evidence to prove it, but that's what he went up and testified in front of Congress. Then he went over to France and met with the North Koreans while we were still at war. In my book, that's a traitor. John Kerry is of the same character as Jane Fonda, a.k.a. Hanoi Jane. No matter what you think of the Vietnam War, I've written about it, I've studied it. Our guys got put in, we should never, ever, ever again fight another Vietnam War, which, by the way, Barack Obama just wrapped one up, with the same result. Lost 50,000 men or more, and in the end, walked away and left the whole country to the enemy. Barack Obama just did one of those in Iraq, and he's about to do another one in Afghanistan, where every drop of blood shed there was for nothing. Don't get me wrong. I think we had noble and honorable intentions. We had just come out of the nightmare that was fighting the fighting the Nazis, and realized what they had done. We knew that Russia was really our enemy, and we were trying to put a stop to the global march of communism. What we did was honorable. How we fought the war, though, and when I say how we fought the war, I don't mean the men who fought it, I mean the generals who led it, the generals of Vietnam, and the politicians of Vietnam were, that's where the shame is. Wasn't the men who fought it. They did the, same thing we did to the guys in Iraq. Well, you can't go into mosque, you can't go here, you can't go there. As far as I'm concerned, John Kerry's a traitor. You don't have to agree with or have supported the Vietnam War to come to that conclusion. He came home and testified in front of Congress and lied through his teeth that no one held him accountable. Then he went to France and met with the North Vietnamese while we were still at war, just like Hanoi Jane did. Anyhow, let's back up and go to another clip. What time is it? Oh, okay. Let's go to another clip of Big Dumb Doofus. He was in between Sunday talk shows and got a call from one of his staff members in between his appearances on the Sunday shows, and sat there and had most likely a classified conversation, or maybe he just wanted to trash Israel on a hot mic. You know, these guys are good at it. Obama's done it 2 or 3 times. I don't know if Hillary did it. I don't know how many of these people have done it. Some of them tweet about it. You know, hashtag support the Palestinians. You know, half of this administration's tweeting on behalf of the Hamas terrorists, while Israel's fighting for their survival. It's disgusting and it's a disgrace. Here's another clip of Big Dumb Doofus. On a hot mic on the set of Fox News Sunday, or, you know, he was probably in a centralized location. They went to him. See if this one comes up. He said, well, I'll let you hear what he said. Speaks for itself. Then maybe I'll give you the outline if you don't quite catch it. Yeah, doesn't seem to be. Might have to do a refresh. He said, don't you hate it when something doesn't load, and then right as you hit the refresh button, it starts playing, and you go, don't. That's all right. We'll bring it back up. Hell of a pinpoint operation. Kerry caught on open mic sarcastically slamming Israel on their Gaza op. Maybe there's a reason the White House has been keeping John Kerry from Fox News. Just moments after a testy exchange with Fox News Sunday's Chris Wallace over what the Secretary of State perceived as repeated interruptions, Wallace played a clip captured while Kerry waited to appear on the Sunday news program. Seemingly oblivious to the fact that the State Department camera in front of him and the mic pinned on his lapel were live, America's top diplomat harshly criticized the ongoing Israeli operation in Gaza following news of Israeli army casualties and Palestinian civilian deaths, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to point out, Barack Obama has killed more veterans in the VA scandal than Hamas has killed terrorists in this latest operation. We have about 400 and some Hamas and civilians dead. We're up to well over 500 veterans now dead, and most likely that number will continue to rise because of the scandal at the VA administration's secret waiting list, which, by the way, has anybody heard anything about? Has anybody been held accountable? Oh, they you know, some big dumb doofus. They're all big dumb doofus. One of them stepped down. He hired a new one. Has anybody heard anything? Anybody held accountable? Anybody fired? Anybody put in prison? Anybody gone to jail for the deaths of over 500 veterans because they got secret waiting lists? They wait for months and months just to get in and see a doctor, and they die while they're waiting to do it. While people are keeping paper, handwritten waiting lists